Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching the Breakfast Show. And in this segment of our program, we will talk about the tourism sector and recent reports about tourism in Egypt. As according to travel websites, Egypt tops African countries in the world tourism map, and the website pointed out that it is a wonderful and unparalleled attraction due to its distinguished location. And to shed more light on these media reports, we are joined over the phone by Dr. Yehia Abdel. He is a tourism expert. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jamal. How are you?
So, yes, sir, as I was just mentioning that Egypt, according to media reports and websites, tops the African countries in the world tourism map, and that it is wonderful, attractive destination for its distinguished location. What is distinctive about Egypt to attract international tourism?
Well, as we all know, like Egypt is a historical, like a state and country. A long time ago, like we have a civilization extended over 7,000 years.
Yes.
And even we have, like historians like Herodotus who visited Egypt 450 BC. So it's a historical country with historical attractions, and it's like the cradle of civilization. That's why it's recognized worldwide, and currently, recently by the TripAdvisor, by the Sun, the Telegraph, the National Geographic World Media, that the state that, like Egypt and its attractions, like Cairo, Luxor, Aswan, Hurghada, Sharm el-Sheikh, is one of the best locations that visitors prefer during summer and winter season.
So also a Canadian website said that Luxor is the most renowned tourism hub in Egypt, and that Egypt has special status in the Black Continent, and the tourist powerhouse is set to witness a jump in the number of arrivals by 46% in 2023, which is approximately 11.6 million tourists. So to what extent do you see the importance of the city of Luxor as a hub for Egyptian tourism?
Well, historically, like city, like Luxor has been recognized, like because it houses a Karnak sanctuary, which is the largest religious complex in the world. It covered over 3,000 years, like of continual, like worship, and at one point, historians state there was over 8,000 priests that conducting worship services, like in Luxor. And on the west side, like of the city, which was named, like by the Greeks, like as Thebes, there is Valley of the Kings and Queens. That was houses, like, and burial sites for the both the Middle and New Kingdom monarchs of Egypt. And Nile cruise is stretching all the way from Dandara in the south, going up to Luxor, Komombo, Esna, Edfu, and all the way to Aswan. It's one of the best historical tours and voyages that you can do in Egypt since even the times of Antony and Cleopatra until you reach, like Abu Simbel Temple behind the dam and the Temple of Queen Nefertari. So it's a great historical site that we have now currently direct flights, like from Germany, from France, from Spain, from Europe, directly flying to the Luxor and to Aswan because of its historical value and culture impact on human civilization.
Yes, sir. Also, Egypt's tourism revenues rose by 43.5% to a record high of 4.1 billion US dollars in the first quarter of the fiscal year 2022-2023, which runs from July to September last year. How do you read this report?
Well, definitely we'll be having an excellent season this year because, like remember recently we opened the Al-Fustat Museum for Civilization, and I was there joined by a media group from Bahrain, and we met Dr. Onaim, and he's a very capable director of antiquities and a curator. And then we are at the footsteps of opening the Grand Egyptian Museum, which the whole world is anticipating. And just yesterday, Dr. Waziri, chairman of antiquities, he was in historical and old Cairo at Al Khalifa district, and he opened the restoration process, like of three old mansions, like, and religious sites that belong to Mamluk times, which is like 700 years ago. So really, like currently, around the clock, we open new museums, airports, attractions. That's why that makes, like Egypt as a historical site that the whole world would love to visit and enjoy.
So, sir, to what extent the ongoing developments in Egypt, such as better roads, less traffic, renovation of most tourist destinations, helped in attracting more tourists and impressing tourists at this stage?
Yeah, definitely. I was even with a delegation, like 2 days ago at the Giza Necropolis, and I've seen, like the restoration and the process to make it, like more, like accessible to visitors and to circulation and to enjoy even like the rides as they like to ride horses, camels, carts as well. So it was, like during this time of the year, which you have the mid-year vacation for schools and colleges in Egypt, and there was international visitors as well. So Egypt is colorful and attracts visitors year-round because of its historical past, and that the facilities that we're currently enjoying from new hotels, airports, tourist facilities, and museums that's nearly now covering most of Egypt.
So, also, Dr. Yehia, how do you evaluate this winter season and its reservations?
Well, it's an excellent really season because wherever I go, like at hotels, restaurants, museums, like it's loaded, like, and you can notice this yourself. And we, like the government, like for example, they made like the coronation, like is now is very accessible and busy with visitors, and we have more gardens, more facilities. We're having the new administrative capital, which is attracting visitors as well. So Egypt is becoming like a mix now between like history and the renovation and accessibility of the modern time that we use like state-of-the-art facilities that attracts visitors at both ends of those who enjoy and love travel and voyages to Egypt.
So, sir, are there any initiatives now prepared for the summer to attract more tourists, especially Arab tourists?
Yeah, really. That's why, like I was conducting, like a delegation with the Ministry of Tourism, like from Bahrain Media. They were covering all of Egypt because Egypt became now more accessible, and we have direct flights, like flights from Emirates, from Saudi, from Bahrain, from Kuwait that fly directly to Qader, Sharm el-Sheikh, and some of them fly directly to Luxor. And with the new currency exchange we have, so Egypt now is more accessible and more enjoyable to visitors because, like they get value for money, they extend the visits and they do shopping, like some go for education, training, medical, even visiting religious sites all over Egypt. So really it's been a busy season, inshallah, for this winter and spring and coming summer.
So, also, sir, you were mentioning now that Egypt is currently witnessing the mid-year vacation. To what extent this vacation is affecting the performance of the tourism sector, especially domestic tourism?
It's very beneficial, like imagine we had, like the Cairo Book Fair, and there was
Yes.
nearly like 3 million visitors, and it was like a great celebration.
Yes.
Like for, I have even, like visitors coming from the Gulf region, specifically every year, like to go to the book fair and get, like new publications and new releases. So, like there's lots of attractions, cultural, historical, modern, like even like medical facilities and education with the new universities spreading all over Egypt from King Salman in Sharm el-Sheikh and Alexandria and Cairo, all over. So this is creating a high demand and diversity in services that Egypt is currently providing to its visitors at all ages, like and tastes of travel.
So, sir, also, what is the importance of opening new markets for tourists from different countries at this period?
Yeah, really. So I've been many times to Al-Fustat Museum for Civilization, and even, like when we met the chairman of Antiquities, he pointed
Yes.
out there is like the now trend, like for groups, like from Latin America, like from Asia, that really was like in small, like volumes, but now it's doubling and tripling. So these are some of the new trends that we're having in Egypt because of the strategy applied by the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, Dr. Ahmed Isa, like and his associates. So really, inshallah, in 2023, we'll be having a solid season because many of the projects the government was doing over 5 years, it's bearing fruits now, like roads, airports. Hotel companies will be developing and building 30 hotels, like all over Egypt within 2 years because we need to meet the demand, like on travel to Egypt, we need more room capacity and we need more attraction. So you can see this, like coming, we have more international performance groups, like they're coming to Egypt, like Cirque du Soleil coming in March, and we have, like the fashion shows, the games, the sports. So really, Cairo and Egypt are becoming more attractive destinations.
So, Sarah, how do you see the importance of digital marketing nowadays to promote for tourism abroad?
This is the strategy and a campaign conducted by the Ministry of Tourism and the tour operators in Egypt, airlines, hotels. All the services now worldwide are conducted, like through online booking reservation. And that's why it's becoming more accessible to receive your visa online and then to book your hotel. And even I see like around Cairo, like young, like travelers, like we call the backpackers, they stay in a nice 2- and 3-star hotels because they need to get the real feeling, like of travel, not staying in sophisticated and expensive hotels. So Egypt is becoming attractive, to all types of tourism, from the top, like echelons up to the middle one, and they like to travel, like look at the transportation services we have now. The Spanish new trains, like Talgo that's going from Cairo to Alexandria, very
Yes.
comfortable and sophisticated. We have another service going to Luxor and Aswan. So all this is really some of the accessible tools and instruments to promote travel all over the country.
Yes, sir. Also, if we talk about the archaeological discoveries that took place in Egypt recently, as every few days we hear about a new archaeological discovery in a new area here in Egypt. How can we promote for all these archaeological discoveries and put them on tourism map?
Well, this is really very attractive, like for historical and archaeological sites worldwide. So Dr. Ghunaim was talking about the National Geographic that they come regularly to Al-Fustat Museum for Civilization to film, like some documentaries. And the discoveries made by Dr. Waziri in Luxor, like 2 weeks ago, and others doing developed and discovered in Saqqara necropolis by Dr. Zahawaz, the reputable, like archaeologists, are very attractive because with every new discovery we have, like new, like updates about, like the current living of pharaohs on the 26th dynasty, the late period, or some in the Middle Kingdom, which tell us, like about the exchange of course, of Egyptian civilization with its neighborhoods in trade, in peace, in treaties, like on the daily life of men and women that lived these periods. So Egypt is the hub, like of civilization and antiquities worldwide, and that's why Egyptology is taught all over the world. And I visit many countries where they have, like Egyptian artifacts that, like acquired like 100 or 200 years ago. So really, we are proud that we are part of world civilization.
So, sir, one final question. Do you think that the tourism sector is still facing some challenges here in Egypt, or it is now starting to improve and get over all the challenges that the sector faced in the past few years?
Well, really, I've been in a meeting, like in one of the top hotels in Egypt, and there was like 14 colleges of tourism education, and they were making, like alliances, because at least like in every government now, we have two like colleges of hotel and travel education to cater, like and upgrade the skills of the workers in this field. We need at least like 5 to 6 million, like working in the airlines, hotels, and cruises and food services as well. So this is one factor. Other factor could be like the environmental and ecology, like because of, for example, Cairo is a large metropolis, like, so we need to do like some climate control to make it, like accessible and more hospitable to visitors, like. But visitors love, like the daily lifestyle of Egyptians, the gastronomy, and the documentaries we were doing yesterday. They was filming the Egyptian cuisine because they love it so much, like in the Arab countries and in European countries as well. So this is food, like antiquities, music, culture, education is one of the great attractions that visitors like to experience when they come to our country.
Yes, finally, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Yehia Abdel Qader, tourism expert. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And dear viewers, short break, and we'll be back with our second segment for today in the breakfast show. So stay tuned.